Welcome back to Growth Interrupted. Today we're talking platforms, agencies, AI with someone who spent a decade inside Microsoft advertising, watching all three collide. Today I have Stephanie Boedige with me on the show, and we will discuss with Stephanie about where advertising is actually heading, what AI is really changing for platforms and agencies, and where she thinks the human stuff still matters most. Stephanie, welcome to Growth Interrupted.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's such a pleasure to be in the show. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Would you want to introduce yourself a little bit so that everybody knows about you and your experience?
I am a global agency director within Microsoft Advertising, and that's part of Microsoft's broader AI organization led by Mustafa Suleyman. And we bring together innovation across Copilot, Bing, Edge, and Microsoft Advertising. And my responsibility in particular is to lead Microsoft's strategic relationships with some of our most significant independent agency groups across continental Europe, but of course on a global scale, which is why we talk today.
Great. By the way, everybody, Stephanie also has a track record of awards.
Yes, fingers crossed this year for Paralytics.
Exactly. We hope so too as well. This is a kind of track record that tells you she hasn't just watched this industry change. She's actually inside the machinery of it. So it's going to be a great conversation.
And always a pleasure. I would think it's less about me, it's about partnerships. So I'm also curious to hear from you, Amy, today. And I think one of the most exciting parts of my role is to build our agency partnerships for the future, right? To make your work shine, to help partners understand also how to adapt and fully capitalize on AI innovation from Microsoft and in AI powered discovery and generative engine optimizations and all the agentic commerce opportunities that come up now. So I'm really excited to hear from you about your questions and have a discussion.
Of course, I'm very excited about our session today as well. First, I want to talk about the first segment of the industry shift. So, you've been inside Microsoft advertising for a decade, watching this from a pretty unique advantage point. What are the biggest forces reshaping digital advertising right now?
Yeah, I would say we move from the internet web to the agentic web. Currently, there are three eras that emerge and that marketers need to optimize for. So, first of all, of course, there's the human web, right? This is what we've been working together on for decades. It's the internet's history. So, our job has been on the human. It was about search, clicks, compare and decide, and so about pages, feeds, and links. That was the era where our marketing strategies were optimized for getting someone to click and take the next action. And what's different now is that AI is starting to take on the work in the middle of the journey. So it's the LLM web. It's all about help me choose. So people still materialize intent in these conversational interfaces, but instead of scanning like 10 tabs and multiple pages and search results, they ask questions and get a short list, one that is already summarized, organized, filtered. And so the AI is becoming a guide that narrows choices and frames what matters. And what we're seeing is the shift from pages to answers, conversations, and co-pilots. That's what we're currently at. And users of Bing were able to leverage Copilot since February 2023. This is when we introduced Bing Chat. And so from the start also, because we're talking about advertising, ads were embedded in this experience. And what we've seen with all the experience that we're having between February 23 and now is that there's systematically greater advertising efficiency when Copilot is involved in these funnels. Click rates are higher. The conversion journeys are by on average 30% shorter. And as soon as Copilot is involved, there's also a higher purchase intent. So our insights have measured that within 30 minutes of the interaction on Copilot, there is 53% increase in purchases compared to traditional search journeys. And as far as these are shopping conversion funnels, and the intent increases to almost 200%. So that's the LLM web, which is already quite exciting. And now we're getting to the next stage, which is even bigger. It's the agentic web. And so the role of AI becomes a do it for me role, not just recommending options, but completing tasks, bookings, buying, signing up, scheduling, and so forth.
You mentioned intent a lot. I wanted to ask you how much of that change is being driven by the technology itself or by consumers simply expecting different things now.
Consumers very quickly adapt to these new possibilities. When we look at what eMarketers projects already in 2025 about AI search, they said it's going to be it's forecasted to be the next big shift in digital advertising, and that by 2029, generative AI tool will be part of everyday life for over half of internet users. And when we look at adoption, that's probably a conservative estimation, right? So when comparing AI search to other media channels, from the point on where these channels attracted over $1 billion US dollars in ad spend, AI search is forecasted to scale faster than any other digital media channel that was previously introduced. Social media, retail media, CTV, traditional search. So when we look at the numbers, AI search will represent within 4 years 26 billion US dollars, where traditional search within those same timeframes attracted $6 billion.
Wow.
So, this is how rapidly people adopt the technology and leverage the opportunity. And when we look at the impact that we're already seeing with the agentic web, which is only just nascent, first insights show that there is a 3 times higher conversion rate in brand agent assisted sessions compared to unassisted sessions. So it's an exciting opportunity for our entire industry.
In that case, if things are changing so rapidly, what pressures do you think e-commerce brands are under today? And you think what platforms and agencies aren't responding well enough yet?
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. I believe we're entering a fundamentally different era of performance marketing than, looking back 3 to 5 years ago. So, historically, performance marketing was about optimizing for clicks, for traffics, for conversions along a relatively linear funnel. And success depended more on, being found in search results, driving users to a destination and measuring the actions that followed. And in the AI era that we're entering, the customer journey is becoming significantly shorter. So AI assisted experiences are moving consumers from research to decisions only in a few steps. And in some cases, the key evaluation happens even before a click occurs. And so, as results, performance is no longer just about generating traffic, it's increasingly about influencing decisions inside AI driven experiences. So, to give you an example, our insights teams have measured that. And yeah, so what they've found is that we define performance now, from clicks to influence, from rankings to citations, from traffic volume to decision quality, and from being found to being recommended.
Okay. I think it's very great that we're talking about AI right now because it's also the second section, which makes it easy for
Yeah.
me to to transition. In that case, where do you think human expertise still matters most, even as more of this gets automated?
Yeah, it's definitely a question of strategy, judgment, and brand coherence, right?
Right.
I was at the Cannes Lions last week, of course, and everyone emphasized that AI, shouldn't own the strategy. Humans still must define the brand voice and core insights. And yeah, so AI may scale creativity, but definitely judgment, aesthetics, nuance, and brand taste. Those are things that remain distinctively human strengths.
So in that case, since human expertise is
Yeah.
going to be needed for strategies, right? What skills do you think are going to matter most for digital teams to build when AI and automation keeps advancing at this pace?
Yeah, I would say there are three key aspects that are important. So first, there's data fluency, interpreting AI visibility metrics. That's important, of course. We are in an era where it is not about traffic anymore, but it is about brand authority and trust. And to deliver on that, I think strategic storytelling, to build those authentic and consistent brand platforms, strategic storytelling certainly is key. So, what we can do at Microsoft is not, of course, to tell an agency partner how they should do that, but we have tools to help you measure whether you've been successful in building those brand platforms. For instance, Clarity or our Bing Webmaster tools. Now they have a geo component where you can leverage data on AI search, right? Not just the projection of what this data could look like, but we have a geo component where you can actually measure what is already happening, what you're generating, or the brands that you work for generate in terms of AI traffic, and whether they are cited or not, and what kind of authority they have. So I think that's very important. And those are tools that are Clarity is free of charge, for instance, can be used by any brand. Those are tools that are highly relevant for agencies as well. And then, of course, a shared component of the partnership is AI orchestration, right? Designing workflows that blend human insights with machine efficiencies. Yeah, those are core topics that we're discussing currently in our partnerships. And you certainly have a few key insights on those as well.
I think so too, for our many years of partnership. So completely agree with that. I think relationships between platforms and agencies is extremely important, which is also very related to your job. I wanted to go to our next segment about platforms and agencies and wanted to ask you, you work with independent agencies across the globe. That's literally your title. So, how has the role of agencies evolved in the years you've been doing this?
Yeah, agency relationships are really evolving at the moment. We're talking more about tech partnerships than about partners for advertising strategies. So it's really, we're at a stage now where we are building the technical foundations to scale AI capabilities, and that's fundamentally structuring also for advertisers, because they need to be able to trust in those partnerships between agencies and publishers, in terms of data protection, in terms of accessibility to relevant data for targeting purposes, and the capacities and the capabilities to scale AI functionality. So it's a very exciting moment at the moment for agency partnerships.
It seems technology is becoming very important right now, and it's the core of agencies versus platforms dynamic, right? In that case, where do you see the biggest opportunity for deeper collaboration between agencies and platforms, just to shift the technology further and also help brands grow in a better scope?
I think there are definitely several aspects of that. Agency partners will move along an AI maturity framework with Microsoft, and we will help you to accelerate your own agentic and transformation in a way. Uh, empowering you to build new services and new products with our AI innovation. That's the ultimate goal. Of course, it starts with where we are currently. It's still predominantly the human web. So there are capabilities like creative automation processes, which are already widely leveraged and that you can also use with Microsoft Advertising. So Copilot, for instance, and our Ad Studio allows you to automate those processes and to adapt your creatives. Of course, you can leverage all our AI-driven products like performance marks and AI search. And then there's the necessity to build the foundation for what's to come, and that's secure data transmission, right? So one of the foundations, of course, for scaling automation through MCP is mature API usage. And we have an API for all our features. And so that's currently a focus point as well in partnerships to ensure that data can be transmitted in a secure way, and that's through API. And then MCP is readily available from July onwards. Not only for Copilot, but for all AI agents. And that's an opportunity, of course, to significantly accelerate an efficiency in all of these automation work streams.
Very, very good. That means that with AI API is maturely adopted. I wanted to ask you how important is using first-party data for agencies? Would you advise brands and agencies integrate as much first-party data as possible onto your ad platforms, or is there any other direction that agencies should go for when it comes to first-party data?
Yeah, first-party data is crucial for AI. I mean, high quality data is crucial for AI. Now, when it comes to data clean rooming, and you work for a European agency, you know that there are regions where advertisers are more apprehensive of transmitting their first party data. And so I think we have opportunity to also leverage our technical capabilities that we're building for this AI era to find workarounds, also through MCP, for not necessarily having to transmit everything. But of course, DCR is a focus area for many advertisers and agencies at the moment to ensure that the quality of data is sufficient really for all of these automation processes.
Great. So, if you were to give one piece of advice for an agency trying to stay relevant 5 years from now, what would it be?
I think it's a journey, right? So we are only at the start of the agentic era. And what is important is to leverage AI to not only be more efficient or, save time, but really fundamentally assist your value chain and your value creation. So what do customers need in that AI era, in the agentic web, right? How can you develop new revenue streams? And I think when you focus on those midterm and long-term goals, then you're going to identify solutions that will help you remain relevant and position you as an AI first agency partner.
Let's talk about Microsoft specifically for a moment. Beyond audience scale, beyond many, many cool features that you are doing for the ads manager right now. So, since you've been spending a decade at Microsoft Advertising, how does Microsoft Advertising differentiate itself today compared to other ad platforms?
What is exciting with Microsoft Advertising is yeah, that we sit at the intersection of AI innovation, consumer experiences, cloud infrastructure, and advertising technology because we are part of Microsoft. And we are part of Microsoft AI to be very closely working with our engineers. And so the decision paths between, what's been developed as AI innovation and when it is made available to us, and also the feedback loop from our sales teams to engineering are much shorter today. We've become more agile. And yeah, so we're really enabled and empowered to support our agency partners across these three areas of the web: the human, the LLM web, and the agentic web, and what it takes to prepare them. So that's really exciting.
Great. Do you think platforms broadly are moving towards becoming an end-to-end growth systems rather than just media channels?
I would definitely say so. And I think it's a necessity. And what's important is that they are not closed systems, or at least that the technology, the AI technology, enables our agency partners and advertisers to work across all of them to, yeah, leverage the audience potential and the AI innovation that each of those platforms offer you.
Great. Stephanie, we're reaching the end of the podcast, and at the end, we always want to tie the questions to the name of the podcast, which is Growth Interrupted. So the first closing question I want to ask is, if growth is becoming easier to automate, what do you think becomes harder for brands and enterprises?
I would say fostering trust and authenticity certainly is a core focus for many brands at the moment. Teams are still wondering how to remain visible in an advertising ecosystem that is increasingly driven by agents and machines, and also obviously in an ecosystem which is increasingly automated. How do you differentiate? So I think these two areas are core focus for our partners, and that's also where we come in, and where we want to build the architecture and the offering that helps you find your answers.
All right. And on the platform side, what do you think platforms themselves need to focus on if you want to keep growing in the AI era?
Definitely be tip of the spear, right? To provide solutions that help advertisers and our agency partners to continue develop their value chain, to evolve their positioning, and to keep thriving in the agentic era. I think that's very important. Trust again is a must. How do we keep the trust? Microsoft is known for its very strong stance on data privacy and data protection. But obviously, we're entering a new era. It's the agentic era. So when partners look at data, do we interpret it in the same way? And what is, the shared perspective on whether we're looking at performance or not? So that's a strong viewpoint at Microsoft at the moment, where we want to make sure that we are always trusted, and that the performance that we bring to you is measured in a way that is as conservative as possible, so that whether it's an agency partner, or whether it's an advertiser, when you look at the performance, you are happy with it and you're satisfied, and we can build on that trust to develop your businesses together.
All right. Stephanie, this has been a very genuinely grounded conversation about our industry. And we talked a lot about the disruption, but not enough about what actually holds steady. And I'd love to have you on another episode one more time.
Would be my pleasure.
Where can people find you or follow what you're doing at Microsoft?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on not too many other social media channels, but in continental Europe, always on the big industry events, always on our first party, our owned Microsoft advertising and Microsoft events. And so, I'd love to connect with you there. Definitely.
All right. Thank you very much. And thanks for being on Growth Interrupted.
Pleasure. Thank you, Amy, for having me.
Thanks for tuning into Growth Interrupted, where growth gets challenged, unpacked, and looked at a little differently every episode. If this one resonated, or you simply enjoyed the AI avatars we created for our guests, drop us a comment or share it with someone in your world. You'll find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Growth Interrupted is proudly brought to you by Copilot-assisted, an award-winning global digital marketing agency. See you next episode.